All right, what's up, guys? This is Matt with AC Fly Fishing, sitting here with John.
What's happening?
The fish daddy.
Yes, sir.
We just want to give you a quick little primer about Fall River, one of our favorite places to spend a lot of time in the summertime fishing. So, John, tell me a little bit about the Fall River. As far as we'll start with location. How do we get to the Fall River?
So the Fall River is, to start off, it's one of the most special pieces of water that we have around here. It's literally one of my favorite. Amazing fish, gorgeous valley. I mean, it is spectacular.
No doubt about that.
So from Redding, you're an hour east of here. You just hop on 299, head about an hour east, and it's in the town of Fall River Mills. It's in the Fall River Valley.
Simple to get to.
Super simple to get to.
Really easy. And what are we fishing for out there? What species?
It's all rainbow trout out there. You won't ever find, any brown trout. You're not gonna find really any other species of fish in the Fall River.
Yeah, just
I mean, there are some, big Sacramento pike minnow, but rarely do they get hooked.
Squaw dogs.
Yeah, it's all rainbow trout. So the fishery is a little different than most of the stuff around here. It's like a massive spring creek is basically what I would describe it as. There's no riffles, there's no structure, there's no rocks. It's just flat water.
Right.
Super clear water, grass on the bottom, like this gorgeous, like almost fluorescent green flowing grass. You'll see like hundreds, if not thousands, of fish in a day. Like as you're motoring around,
it's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet boat ride going up there and seeing all the fish.
Yeah, I mean, you're just like parting fish as you're driving through it. Sometimes
it's pretty rad. Yeah.
One of the really cool things about the Fall River is you can fish it in a lot of different ways. So you can fish with like a sinking line, with an intermediate line. You can strip little nymphs, or you can strip little leeches. You can throw dries, you can throw dry dropper, you can fish the bobber. So literally you can do all of it, and pretty much every day you could do all of the above.
That's pretty sweet, the diversity.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw pretty much every single day throughout the whole entire season. You're gonna find rising fish.
Yeah.
Now, like, they are the most difficult fish to catch ever on a dry fly.
Right.
But the opportunities are there.
That's all you can ask for, right?
Yeah. There's a good PMD hatch every day, midday.
Right.
Throughout the whole season. So you're going to have a shot at some rising fish if you want to. Usually what ends up happening is people are like, there's fish rising right there. Can I throw to them? And you're like, sure, you can throw to them.
Go ahead and give her a try.
And, they'll waste, 30 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes, and then, might hook one, might rise a couple, whatever. And you're like, all right, you want to go catch some more fish?
Yeah,
we go back
subsurface.
To the bobber and
are you
catch some fish.
So you do some bobber fishing, some kind of twitching on like a sinking line, you said too?
Yeah, I mean, you got all of the above.
Just
you
sort of whatever.
Literally do whatever. Typically, if we're talking, we want to catch just sheer numbers of fish. We're just gonna throw a
indicator
bobber.
Fish. Yeah. No, most definitely.
But there is, the opportunities for all of that other stuff every day.
A lot of diversity. That's a pretty special place.
Yeah.
And we're fishing it mostly out of a boat. You ever getting out of the boat?
Never getting out of the boat. It's all
right.
All private property.
Yep.
There is no public property anywhere on the entire Fall River system.
And that's a big reason. So it's not a drift boat either. You're in a power boat.
No, we're
there.
in a power boat.
Yeah, sled.
And you're, driving around. The boat ride, from where we launch is about a 30-minute boat ride. It can be even more depending on where the fish are. Super early season, they could be way up the river because all of that grass hasn't grown in yet. It kind of starts up high and then moves down the river. So the fish are going to be where that grass is. That's where the bugs are. That's where they can hang out. That's where they can hide. So
absolutely.
It could be a long boat ride, but it's a gorgeous boat ride.
It is
wildlife.
dude.
And,
That is the best scenery I think of anywhere that we've, in my opinion. It's pretty
I mean,
darn
it's
cool.
it is a special place. I mean,
Really
when you
is.
talk to people, you know, like Val
Right,
Atkinson, who's
right.
literally fished everywhere in the entire world that you
Right.
can fish, and that's where he settles and thinks
That's-
that it's the most special place and
Exactly.
they're the most special fish in the world. So that tells you something about that.
There's no
that
doubt
zone,
about
you
that.
know? And there's other spots too to fish out there, so it's not like you're just stuck fishing the Fall River
Right,
proper. There's all kinds of little fingers and lakes and ponds and stuff that are all interconnected.
Right, some of the springs
so
and stuff.
you can move around and go check out, you know, other areas. And there's a few areas that are extremely special and really gorgeous and just cool to just go out and see.
So a day on the Fall River, you're gonna see some stuff. You're gonna see some water, see some different techniques, a little bit of a lot of diversity in one day, right?
Yeah, and the fish are amazing.
They're
fish.
extremely cool fish.
I mean, even the little ones rip.
Right.
You know, you catch a 15-inch Fall River rainbow and it's
They're
gonna rip,
tough.
and then you're gonna get a shot at an 18, 20-inch fish pretty
Yeah.
much every day.
Yeah,
So
they live there.
yeah.
I mean, we fish it all summer. It's all summer long?
The Fall River fishes best from like May all the way through the end of October.
Right.
And we'll see now, this is another river that's changed. So
Right, it opens in March now. Right?
it's year round now.
Oh, it's a year-round
It's
fishery.
a
now.
year-round
Oh my
fishery
gosh.
now. I don't think that the Fall River proper is going to fish that great in the dead of winter.
Right.
But, something that could be really interesting these next few years to check out is, if we get a little warmer fall, is it going to fish late into
Right, will you
November?
be
Is it going to fish late into December?
Right.
If it hasn't gotten super
If
cold.
we have one of these, late onset winters, then
We can totally be out there fishing that. And I would imagine that as we get more cloud cover and we get a little cooler weather, you're going to get some cool hatches that we don't
Yeah.
typically get in the middle of summer, like blue wing olives
No
and
doubt.
stuff like that. I mean, some of the best days I've ever had on the Fall River are in, cloud cover
Overcast,
and
yeah.
a little bit of rainy days where there's fish rising just everywhere.
yeah,
and the
you
fish
get a
are
lot
just
of bugs,
showering.
and you get fish feeling a little bit safer without that high sun on them.
Right. So we'll see. I mean, but typically, yes, all summer. The nice thing about fishing the Fall River in the middle of summer is it's a little cooler than Redding.
Yes.
Typically we're 10 to 15 degrees cooler up
That's-
there in the Fall River
That's
Valley.
very,
So
very significant.
it's a little cooler. The other rad thing about that up there is with a bunch of waters close to it, you could go out, fish the Fall River in the morning and fish it until, midday. And
Right.
then you're like, it's ridiculously hot out here. All right, let's go
Let's
wet
go
wade.
jam and get into Hat Creek or
Wet
something.
wade Hat Creek,
Right.
wet wade Pitt River in the
Right.
afternoon. So
That's-
the possibilities up there.
That's pretty awesome. It's a great opportunity. People are always looking for boat trips, aside from the lower Sac in the middle of summer when it's 100,000 degrees here in Redding.
The Fall River.
Fall River is a perfect option.
Yeah.
Like everywhere, we always kind of ask people that haven't fished before always ask, they haven't fished that river before, they always ask if there's like a skill barrier, something they need to be good at before they go there. Is there any type of skill barrier
Fall
going into
River's
Fall River?
not that. It used to be a little trickier. I would say the last 5 years, just the sheer number of fish that have come into the river. We've
Right.
just had good years where there's a lot of fish spawning and there's a lot of new fish. So we've had just ridiculous amounts of fish in the river. So it's not as difficult as it used to be. You're going to catch
going
some
to
fish.
get opportunities.
And there's, there, like we always talk about in all these videos, is there's not a barrier at all.
No.
But if you're a better angler, you're going to have some shots at maybe some different techniques.
Right.
Or you're going to catch a few more fish than somebody would that's a total beginner.
Yep.
Because you can, maybe you do want to strip some streamers and the fish aren't on the nips, or you can throw dries to those
Absolutely.
rising pods of fish. But if you're a full-on beginner, you can go out there and we can put, a bobber on and
get it done.
You can catch fish.
And also a great place if you want to kind of learn some new techniques, to be like, yeah, I want to learn how to do this. Well, let's spend an hour and, I realize maybe I won't catch some fish in this hour, but we'll learn some stuff. And
oh yeah. I mean, you're going to learn, like you're going to be able to get some new tools in your arsenal on the Fall River. If you can make good drifts with a dry fly out there and present it well to the fish, you can do it anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's very true.
There's a lot of possibility to learn new techniques. And then, we have the hex hatch up there in the middle of summer. So
that's kind of the last thing I wanted to ask you. Everyone talks about the hex hatch on the Fall River. Tell me a little bit about the hex hatch.
All right. So hex hatch is definitely a bucket list item for people that haven't seen it. It is massive mayflies. I mean, we're talking like size 6.
They're like the size of my palm.
Mayflies.
Yeah, right.
Bright yellow. They like it hot. So the hotter it is, the better that hatch comes off. They're gonna come off at 9:15 at night, like on the dot.
Right.
You go out there, and almost every night, still after 10, 11 years, I'll be like, it's not gonna happen. It's not happening. Like, it's not happening tonight. And then 9:15, boom, they start going. And every night, people are like, oh, there's a fish rising. It started. Oh, there's a fish rising. And you're like, no, you're gonna know when they eat a hex. They're out there, they're eating these little black caddis before the hatch really starts.
Yep.
And they're just kind of sipping those caddis. And when they come up and they eat a hex, like, you know it. They crush.
It's violent.
It. And so what I always tell people is you'll know just by the sound.
Yeah.
Like, you start hearing and they're just like hammering these big mayflies. But I mean, not only that, so where we do it, you're like, you park the boat, you anchor up, you're looking straight into Mount Shasta, the sun's setting. It's a gorgeous sunset. Darn. There's huge mayflies, huge fish coming up, rising for it. It's
pretty darn special.
So last year, for the first time, I just kind of went out there and watched it a couple times.
Right.
And it was super cool to not fish and just like experience the whole thing.
Just take it all in, soak it all up.
It's a bucket list thing.
No
I
doubt.
mean, it's a short little hatch, like time period throughout the day. It's only
It's not an all-day thing. You have a really small window, really late at night.
A half hour, 45 minutes. But it's worth it. It's totally worth it. And, not everyone likes to do it, but a lot of the times what I'll do at that time of year when it's super hot is like go out, fish until it's miserably hot.
Yep.
And then take a little break.
Yeah.
Come back out in the evening.
And say, okay, we're going to, we'll hang out here.
End up at the hex hatch.
That's a great way to do it. That's a really good way to do it.
But I mean, that hatch is just phenomenal. I mean, it's
pretty darn
really
cool to see. Really cool to see.
That valley in general, like if you've never seen the Fall River Valley, if you've never seen the fish in there, if you've never seen just the water, the sunsets, the bird life, it's amazing.
100%. It is 100% a place that's worth checking out. If you haven't been there, check it out. If you have, come do it again. We'll be out there all summer. John, you'll be there all summer. We've got Jay, Bucko, a handful of guys that go out there and guide it. So yeah, I think that's about it. If you guys want to come fish Fall River, give us a shout.
Sweet.
Take care, guys.